So welcome back to another Game Stuff episode, and this one is episode 7. And I was looking online, I'm like, when was the last time I did a Game Stuff episode? And it was 3 years ago. I don't know how that happened. So I apologize, I should really film a lot more, I should do a lot more videos. I fully agree with that stance. I go too long without talking about a lot of stuff, and I thought this is stuff I picked up in the last 4 or 5 months that I wanted to talk about. A lot of games that I never get to talk about as well, like Titanfall and Stick of Truth. So I can kind of go through that today and chat about it. So let's start back in my birthday. I got a really funny gift from Brian from Game Deals, and he picked me up Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch on Sega CD. I think he had this in his store. He has, he has Game Deals, so maybe he had too many copies of these laying around. So unfortunately, I got this. Too much fun. So also, just as a note, I'm not going to use any game footage for new games because companies are just flagging videos left, right, and center, and I had a bunch of Game Stuff episodes that got taken down because of copyright stuff, so I'm just going to show the games and talk about them. First up is Titanfall. I picked this up, and what were my thoughts about this? I played the demo. I loved it. I thought it was unbelievable. It was everything I wanted in a mech shooter, everything I've kind of dreamed about over the years. It was really fantastic. I picked up the Xbox One game, and I was playing it for a little bit of time, and then I just stopped playing it. It's a good game, but it wears out fast, I kind of find. I really kind of missed a one-player game as well. It has a kind of one-player game, but it's not that great. So, but Titanfall is a great game. I think graphically it's fantastic. It's a lot of fun. It's something that I'll pick up once in a while and play, but I haven't played it in a little bit here. Okay, next up is South Park, Stick of Truth. This was delayed by UPS for I don't know how long. This copy here, the Grand Wizard Edition, was on a train that got derailed across Canada in the snow. So this was trapped out there for like 13 days, so it took a little bit to get here. I finally picked it up, and I gotta say, loving the game. It's a lot of fun. It's hilarious. For anybody who likes South Park, it is. You are in South Park. You make your character. You are in the game. You are in the world. It's fantastic. I really enjoy that aspect of it. The combat is okay. I'm not gonna go on about it. It's okay. It's enough for me to kind of get through, but. Some of the controls are a little clunky, but overall, it's a fun game. If you like South Park, you're going to love this game, and I am loving it. So, let's move this out of the way. Final Fantasy X and X-2. I have a very interesting relationship with Final Fantasy X, and I got to talk about it. This is the remake. This is the high-definition upgrade on the PS3. I picked up Final Fantasy X back in the day, and it was the first Final Fantasy game that it was good. I enjoyed it. What did I have issues with? The voices were horrendous throughout the game. There's a lot of stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff. The funny thing, here's the best review I can do for Final Fantasy X. There's so much that I hate about the game, but there's so much that I like about the game. I had this weird love-hate relationship with Final Fantasy X. I do overall like it, but it was a change in the series. That's for sure. The world map changed, all that. But here's the thing. So nostalgic. You know, like, the music in Final Fantasy X. It's funny, they say, like, you get a watch and you throw it in the sand for 1,000 years and, it becomes priceless. Some games have that. Final Fantasy X has that. Nostalgia has kicked in for Final Fantasy X already, all these years later. The music is so unbelievable. It's really, really good stuff. And I like it. I do. It's like a guilty thing. I feel in a lot of ways I shouldn't like Final Fantasy X. But I do. I really actually do. And the crazy thing is, I'm one of the few people that played, and I wasn't working at the time, when X-2 first came out. I loved the game. I thought it was good because I didn't have any games to play, and Final Fantasy X-2 came out. I was like, oh, I'm going to play this game. And I finished it as well. So I finished Final Fantasy X and X-2, and I had these weird things like X-2, people hate the game. And I don't hate X-2 that much, actually. I think it's actually not a bad game, but Anyways, yeah, Final Fantasy X is a weird one for me. I could really do an entire episode about it and just talk about, you know, just the love-hate relationship that I have with it. But overall, it is a classic. That's it. Next up, I didn't pick this up day one like everybody else did. Tomb Raider came out for the PS3, and obviously the PC version was unbelievable looking. And I didn't pick up any of the console versions. I waited, and I got the PS4 version. And I just finished this game a little bit ago. Wow, was I ever impressed? I heard a lot of good things about the game. I thought, wow, maybe I might, maybe it's not for me. Maybe I didn't mind the original Tomb Raider games. I was never very good at them. So I was like, oh, if there's a lot of crazy platforming and stuff like that, it might be a little tough like they used to be. And no, this game is, you're as good as you, like, your character. Like, the original games had some spotty controls. These controls are fantastic. Like, when you're playing good, you're playing good. I like, the graphic-wise, it's just stunning. Gameplay-wise, a lot of fun. I finished this game, I think, in a couple sittings. I think it was about 3 sittings. I just went right through it, and there's extra content. There's more to do now that I finished the game. I definitely think I'll go back to Tomb Raider. Beautiful, pleasant surprise, and I'm really glad I waited. It was a game on the PS4 that, wow, it really, really felt good to be playing a cool kind of action adventure game on the PS4. I'm glad I waited. Now, last weekend was the Vancouver Retro Gaming Expo in town here, and in a couple of days I've got a really fun little interview I do with John Hancock, a guy who has an amazing collection. It's staggering, like, complete collection of Sega Genesis and 32X, and the list goes on. You wouldn't believe it. So, but while I was there, I picked up a few retro games, something I just absolutely love. Now, I searched the floor, and a lot of people will go out and they'll, you know, look for, like, hidden gems in the sense of, you know, rare games that are American. I always go looking just for Japanese import games that I personally have an affection for. First up is Hyrule Fantasy, and it's the Legend of Zelda, the disc version. I just picked this up, and it was $5. I was like, and the guy even put it in the disc system on the on the Famicom, and it works fantastic. So have that. Oh, I love this. It's funny, of all the games that I got, I really was more excited to get this. Willow on the Famicom. Wow, what a blast from the past. A cool nostalgic movie. Not a great movie, but a nostalgic movie. I do like the movie, but more nostalgic about it now than ever. I love the NES version of Willow. It was classic. I've talked about it quite a few times. It's a really, really cool old school RPG by Capcom. I've never seen the box for this before, so it's like, oh my gosh, Willow, this is only $10. And all these retro games that I bought here were $10 each. Next up, Street Fighter Turbo. Now, I have a story about this from back in the day. This game hadn't come out in America, and I wanted it more than anything. And I imported it back in the Super Nintendo days, and I imported an adapter, so you put your adapter into your Super Nintendo, and then you put the Super Famicom game in, and you can play it. And I checked every day to see if the mailman had come to deliver this game. And he had not. And I was getting really frustrated. And one day, it showed up. But guess what it showed up without? The adapter. I'm like, what? So I couldn't play it, for Christ's sakes. I was so annoyed. And my anger got the best of me. Because I wanted to play. I didn't know what to do. I was trying to open it up. And I cracked it open by accident, but I was able to put the cracked version into the Super Nintendo and play it because it didn't have the tags to the side to prevent it from going in. So I was finally able to play Street Fighter 2 Turbo. And what a lot of people don't know is years ago when I was like, I think I was 20 years old, I traded most of my game collection in to get a Sega CDX. And this was one of the games that went bye-bye. And so I was able to get this back, in a way. So, great nostalgic memories there. I picked up another Famicom game, Fire Emblem. And I might as well just get into this too. I also picked up Fire Emblem, a couple of Fire Emblem games here on the Super Famicom. Very cool. And my first experience with Fire Emblem was on the Game Boy Advance. I really enjoyed that game, but the one that really set me off was the GameCube version. Path of Radiance. I had a love affair with that game. I just thought it was so amazing, and I love my strategy games on consoles. I started with Military Madness way back in the day, but what a world it would have been in if the Famicom version and the Super Famicom versions had come out on the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo back in the day. Things could have been different, you know. And I picked up these games because I really want to see, you know, what I missed out on. And I don't know a lot about them, you know. I've never played them, so I'm really curious to put these in my Super Famicom, put them on the TV, and see what I was missing. I really wish these had come out, actually. Okay, a game that I'm funny this way. American games that I used to pick up that I hated, like Dynamite Ducks, and oh geez, a host of other games like Double Dungeons. For some reason, I had to buy the Japanese version, and here it was, Lagoon. I picked up the Japanese version, and I'm so funny that I hate Lagoon. I don't like the game. But I was so excited. I'm like, oh my god, it's Lagoon, the Japanese version. It's really funny. I love, and I want to say this, I love the old school artwork on these some of these Super Famicom games and a lot of the old PC Engine games. I think you never see artwork like this anymore, and I'm always happy to see that. Couple of other amazing deals down there. It's good to go to some of these retro gaming conventions and just scour around, and in the box, you know, the bottom of some bins, I picked this up. Final Fantasy IX, the official strategy guide for the PlayStation 1. $5. The official Final Fantasy VII strategy guide for Final Fantasy VII. $5 again. Really, that's a super deal. Man, I was in a real strategy thing going on for the Super Famicom. Front Mission, a game that I used to play in my Game Doctor back in the day because they didn't bring it out. Front Mission was a great square soft game that we never got. We got it on the DS. Where is my copy of that? We finally did get it right here. The Front Mission on the DS, and there's a great translation. It's very nice, but this is the original Super Famicom version, and oh god damn it, look at that artwork. Look at that artwork. That's good old Squaresoft. Man, I miss those days. What a great game that was. And here we're at the end. I'm gonna end with a couple of things here. The Bayonetta art book by Udon. Udon makes some incredible books. They always have, and I pre-ordered this a little bit ago, and we're all looking forward to Bayonetta 2. I know there's a little bit of controversy. People are upset that it's on the Wii U. I don't really care. I'm just glad to get Bayonetta 2. So I don't care what system it's on. I can't believe the level of design that went into Bayonetta. It's bizarre to look at this art book. Sometimes you just can't believe the amount of work that goes into a video game. And these art books really give you the appreciation of the work that goes in. Like, the amount of design work is always staggering to me, and it always impresses me to no end. So, very nice. It also comes with a DVD talking to the creators. It's very long-winded. I'll say that. I watched the whole thing. Me and Hanzo watched the whole thing. Very long-winded, but interesting. Some parts were very interesting. It was neat to see Bayonetta playing at a very high frame rate. It looks really unusually nice. Last, and certainly not least, my anime pick that I grabbed a couple months ago. And I picked this up. I had to import it. And importing these, Blu-rays is very expensive. But it's one of my favorite animes. It's probably in my top 10. probably top 10. And I know it's not going to come out here. As much as Macross the movie's never going to come out here. Too much licensing crap and all that. And if it does come out here, great. But it doesn't look like it's going to. And that is Macross Plus. One of my... I just love this anime. I discovered it when I was 21. And I just fell absolutely in love with it. It's Macross the movie and Macross Flashback and Macross Plus are my favorite Macrosses of all time. But okay, so you import this. What do you got? You have the movie on here. You have the OVAs on here. It's 4 OVAs, 1 movie. The great thing about the OVAs is it has the original dub. And I'm usually somebody who does not like the dubs for animes. I just usually prefer the Japanese to listen to that. It just, I don't know, it's soothing. I just enjoy it more. But and some of the voice acting in the early days of anime, I think, turned me off. But Macross Plus, I will say, maybe it's nostalgia, maybe it's whatever, has a fantastic dub and one that, you know, hey, it's got Walt from Breaking Bad. He plays Isamu Dyson, so that's reason alone to enjoy the dub. But pristine looking. I never thought that they could take an old print and make it look so fantastic in high definition. I'm really glad to see like Pat Labber and a lot of the old animes, Ranma Half, getting these amazing high definition upgrades, and I support them. I really like seeing my anime in, you know, and especially old school anime in nice high definition. Who's gonna be against that? It ain't me. So guys, I just want to come in, and I think I blabbered on here about so much stuff. But I wanted to do a new game stuff episode because I haven't done one for 3 years. And I just want to talk about some of the cool things that I picked up and some of the great games that I've had a chance to play in the last bunch of months. So anyways, guys, until next time.